right, let's come to all fours on our mat. I want you to begin just to move in a way that feels easy and natural for you. Move this back just a little bit. Okay, so from all fours position, start with a little cat-cow, but then let yourself just move in whatever ways your body naturally wants to flow. Just sort of get in tune with your animal body. So letting the hips soften, rotate side to side, maybe sway your hips, wag your tail. Let that come from your waistline. You may even lean to the right with your shoulders and your hips to the left. You can look over your right shoulder, back at your right foot. Take your right foot and leg up, circle it around. Change sides, looking over your left shoulder, taking your left leg up, circling it around. Just giving you suggestions. You're welcome to do whatever you want here. Curl the toes under, pick the heart up, circle over your hands and knees, both directions. Arch and curl the spine, leaning forward and leaning back. You can kind of dome out your back and push forward and back from hands to knees. Kind of bringing your hips to your heels and then bringing your hips forward towards your hands. You can do the same in the arch position, cow pose, hips back, heart forward. Just playing with your movement, playing with possibilities. Take one arm up, circle it around. You've circled it back, circle it forward. Lubricating the joints. Do the same on the other arm. Breathe in, breathe out. You know, you're guiding your movement with this powerful breath. Let it land lightly. Sit back towards the heels. So wide knee. Sit back towards the heels. Squish your booty towards your heels and wiggle wobble it out. Send your pubic bone and your pelvis down towards the earth, your belly between the thighs. Flatten the toes to the ground, spread them out. Wobble back to center, bow down, forehead to the earth. Stretching the arms long out on your mat, sort of claw the arms long, armpits broad. Inhale, come through table. Bring your forearms down onto the ground. Make soft fists, thumbs up. Take your legs back behind you. Bring your hips and belly, pubic bone down onto the ground. Sphinx pose, pressing through the forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders. Hug the belly up in towards you, so away from the floor. Push the pubic bone down strongly, engage in your booty. So draw the forearms and elbows down. Feel the fists connect to the ground. Lengthen the head towards the top of your head towards the ceiling. And draw your chin in and back. Shoulders broad, collarbones broad, heart pulling forward, big breath in and out. Spread your toes. Engage your legs. Big breath in and out. Perfect. Curl the toes under. Press back onto your knees again, but stay on your forearms. Good. Walk your knees in maybe 6 inches. And then bring the palms together in front of you. Bring the elbows in just a little closer. So you have Namaste. We're coming into puppy pose. So you can either keep your toes curled under and your hips high, and then start to melt your chest down towards the ground. So we're opening shoulders a little bit more here. You can keep your head up if it's comfortable for your head and neck. So chin towards the ground, or you can bring your forehead towards the ground. So we're melting that space at the back door of the heart, keeping the hips high, spreading our peacock tail feathers back, feeling the length and the strength of the arms. So you're pushing as you're lengthening, feeling the earth below as ground to grow and lengthen. You know, think of that razor's edge. We want to find a balance. Good, and then inhale, slowly bring it forward again, hips to the floor, Namaste position, and forearms to the floor. Okay, so we're coming forward, shoulders over the elbows. And now, keeping your toes curled under, bring your hips up, walk your feet in, so you're in like a dolphin kind of pose. So hips are pressing back, feet are hips distance apart. You're up off your heels. In fact, if you need to bend your knees, keep your heels up. And if you have your legs straight, keep your heels up. You're really on your tippy toes. So press the balls of your feet into the ground. Press your forearms and elbows into the ground. Press your pinky fingers, your prayer position, down into the ground. And then let your head hang, looking back at your toes. Breathe in, breathe out. As you breathe out, hollow out your belly. So feel that little arc like a greyhound dog. Yes. And exhale, slowly bring it down, knees to the ground. Uncurl the toes, forehead to the earth, sit back on your heels and round your back. Traditional child's pose, Balasana. Breathe into your waistline. Breathe into your back ribs. When you exhale, feel yourself sinking down towards the earth. Place the hands on the ground. Extend the arms out in front of you again. Look at your hands. Spread your fingers out and apart. Push the pads of your fingers down while still keeping the arch of the palm of your hand slightly lifted. So you're kind of feeling that pressure of the paws down on the ground without dumping through the center of your palm. So feel the activity through your fingers and hands. Then come back into all fours, but bring your knees together and the tops of your feet down. Good. So from here, curl the toes under. Actually, let's do this first. Let's take the right leg straight back behind you. Just straight back behind you. So raise it, flex the foot, and then just pump the leg a couple times. Just little pumps. So you're pulling your belly button back. You're drawing your ribs in, broadening your shoulders so the upper body is really strong, and you're just pumping that leg behind you. Pointing the toes down, kind of internally rotating those toes in. Yes. And now bring the right knee down. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. Tops of the feet stay connected. Left leg reaches back. Flex the foot. Pointing the toes down. Hug that left inner groin towards the midline. Good. You're going to feel your inner body start to fire up. That's what we want. And then pump. Keep the chest and shoulders broad. Little smile on your face. I'm just kind of looking slightly forward to keep my neck long and engaged. Not particularly hanging the head. Don't even have to look down. Just keep that pumping action. We're just firing up the inner body connection to the legs. 3, 2, 1. Bring that left knee down. Good. Now look over your right shoulder. Look over your right and kind of push your hips to the right. So you're looking at your hips and then switch You're like wagging your tail, looking back at your left. Good. Inhale back to center. Curl the toes under. Keep the balls of your feet together. And lift back up into a down dog with the feet close together, heels up, tippy tippy toes. Good, so keep your heels high and push your arms and hands long. Hang your head. And now feel the length you're creating. All the energy from the earth meeting at the hips, meeting at the sitting bones, from the legs up to the hands and fingers up. Big breath. Activate everything here. Exhale it all the way out. Melt that back door of your heart. Hang your head. Shake the head no, shake the head yes. Make sure it's relaxed. And then slowly come back down onto your knees. You can widen your knees now, either to about hips distance. You can keep your feet together or you can have the feet flat. Just see where your balance is. Take the right arm, reach it up to the sky. Take the right arm and thread it under the left. So as you thread it under your left, your right shoulder comes to the middle of your mat as you lower down. So we got this twist in the upper body. Keep your left hand right where it is in front of your face. And then push your hips slightly to the right. Take the back of your right hand and anchor it into the ground and use that as leverage to twist. Take a breath or two. And now from here comes the tricky part. You can do a couple things. You can send your left arm up and even wrap it behind your back. Okay, do a little bind. You can also keep your left hand on the ground and take your left leg and reach it straight back like you would for a plank. So now we're balancing on the right knee. At this point, you may want to curl your right toes under. If you're ready for the balancing pose, this is a variation on fallen angel. You press down through your right knee, right shoulder, right hand, and you let that left leg float up to the sky as high as it will go. And then spread your toes, reaching through that extended leg. Breathing in, breathing out. So you can be at any variation you'd like. When you're ready to come out, do it with care. Slowly exhale. Bringing that left knee back to the ground. Pressing both knees down as you slide your right arm out from underneath. Reach it up to the sky, look at it, and then circle it around. As you circle it around, sit back on your hips as you go back with your arm. Yes, circle forward, circle back. Good, and do that circle again, opposite way. So we're just keeping that shoulder and arm from getting too stiff. Good, you can turn your palm around as you circle. Okay, shake out that right hand. Replace it to the ground. Other side, left arm to the sky. Open up. Reach. Exhale. Take that left arm, bring it underneath. Thread the needle. Left shoulder to the center of your mat. Head rests. Right hand keeps you grounded. Left hand, back of the hand, rests and presses into the earth, fingers too. So first, feel the twist. Lean your hips, push them slightly to the left. So you feel like you're leveling your weight. From here, if it feels right, you can extend your right arm and get the deeper twist. And for the balancing pose, you'd place the right hand at the floor near your face for support. You're creating this little shelf on your right arm. Curl the right toes under and press back through the heel. So that right leg is straight back like an arrow. Keep the connection to the right hand as you raise your right leg. Whole leg up to the sky. Spread and reach through the toes. Spread and reach the ball of your foot. Feel that energy lengthen and twist. Open and lift. Exhale, gently take that right knee as you can with total control. Lower it down lightly. Come back to that first twist before you press into your right hand. Reach to the sky, open up, and exhale. Return your hand back to the floor. Good. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, lift the heart. I know we still have to circle that other side. Exhale, round the spine. Come to neutral. Take that left arm, reach it over and around. You're sitting back towards your heels as you circle. Circle that arm. You don't have to do it fast or slow. You could just kind of find your position here. You could really make it slow and luxurious, or you can make it fast, energetic. Okay, so you get to decide. And return left hand to the floor. Sit back on your heels. If you have a block, you may want to have it handy at this point. So if you have 2 blocks, even better. So we're just going to take a moment to pause. Turn the palms up on your lap and just relax your shoulders. We've done a lot of work on the shoulders. We're going to give them a little break here right now. So just breathe and sit on your block or sit on a blanket or rolled up something, a pillow. Close your eyes and take pause. Come into the stillness. Come into listening and being again. So hopefully already you're beginning to feel that little dance of energy that's inside of you. It's like maybe things weren't quite moving yet today and now they're like jumping, right? So let's counterbalance the shoulders just for a moment. Really super easy. So like go 70% on this one. So reach your right arm behind your back along your waistline. So your right forearm is along your back waist. Okay. Then take your left arm and bring it around your back waist on top of your right. And then see if you can grab inside the grooves of your elbow joint. Okay, just hold there. Hold there and sit tall, but without jutting your rib cage forward. So sit tall, you kind of pan your rib cage slightly down and really feel your sitting bones connect to whatever you're sitting on. And then let your shoulder blades glide down your back. Breathe all the way up underneath your breastbone, across your collarbones. Really meditative, really nurturing breaths. Rooting into compassion and ahimsa. And then softening the mouth, the jaw, the throat, feeling where you might tend to grip there and sort of ungrip yourself. Perfect. Relax the arms behind you, shake them out a little bit, and then palms down on your thighs. Okay, we're still in Virasana, and that's why, we knew I was going to do a long hold here. So just if you need to put something underneath, you do so. So keep that neutral spine in your back. So center yourself over your sitting bones, crown of the head even. You're going to, make sure you're not jutting your chin out. You're pulling that chin slightly in and down to keep the neck long. Okay. So from here, let the right ear drop down towards the right shoulder. Let the shoulders stay relaxed and keep breathing up under the breastbone. Also imagine you're breathing right between the shoulder blades at the back door of your heart. So when you get to the top of your breath, really feel that connection of your shoulder blades and the breath receiving each other. And then let your chin and let's come up actually. Bring the head straight up back to center. And then let your left ear drop down towards your left shoulder. So both shoulders relaxing down. Jaw is soft, tongue is soft in your mouth. Eyes are either closed or just gently gazing out at a spot. Some yogis say, when we're in meditation during our asana practice, we want to have a drishti. It's either going to be an inner gaze or it's going to be kind of towards the tip of your nose or wherever you want your energy to go. So energy flows where attention goes. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Exhale all this breath out. And then inhale, lift the head back up to center. Final time now. Chin is gonna keep the spine long, and chin is gonna come down, down, down towards like the base of our neck. Now, I don't have a lot of movement here, so just wherever it comfortably drops. And then take some breaths into the back of your neck, down the length of your thoracic spine. Move your shoulder blades with your breath. Good, and then inhale, lift the head up to level, and then start to tip the chin up. And we're not gonna dump it back, we're just lifting the front of the throat. If there's any tension here, we're gonna let that open and breathe. It's like you're pulling and lifting, almost like you're letting a kite out of your chest. Float that chest up, gazing up at that kite. One more breath here. And exhale fully. Inhale fully. And exhale, return your face back to level. Good. All right. Nice work. So come up onto your knees, and if you can adjust, if you have blocks, this is what I would recommend. You have your blocks, like one right next to each other at the front of your mat. Okay? If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can use a big thick book. If you have a big thick book, you just have to put them on either side, and you want to have a good amount of space. So I would take your blocks, kind of to the outer edges of your mat. Okay? Wonderful. All right, so we're going to start here, bringing the right foot kind of on the inside of that right block side. Yes, we're going to lunge, and we're going to use our blocks for the lunge. So you can have the blocks at the lower section, as long as you can kind of bring your body over and touch the top of the block with your whole hand. If that lower section of your block or your book doesn't work, maybe you can get that higher, maybe you can stack it. Again, you don't really need the blocks per se, but they're helpful in this exercise. Okay, so your left leg is gonna slide back a little bit more. So I turn my toes under, and I'm gonna slide my left knee back, I don't know, good 6 inches, all right? So from here, keep the left toes curled under, keep the right foot flat, press into the blocks for a moment with your hands, and lift your heart so you're looking straight forward. As you exhale, draw your belly in and kind of squeeze your rib cage in. Good. Now, press into both feet. Peel back through the left heel. Let your left knee come up off the ground. So you're in high lunge now. I'm going to push equally down through my right foot. So this movement that we're about to do is called a jumping bunny. But we're going to do these jumping bunnies after we've warmed up our legs. So for those of you who know what I'm talking about, it's the jump switch with the legs. And this is going to help us work on that lightness, like the kite or the hot air balloon. It's the springing action through our feet. So just feel into your ball of your foot again and heel and connect into your feet. We often don't in our practice. And at the same time, connect into your head and neck and make sure you're not dumping your head forward or tipping it too far up. Just be really aware of how you're holding the energy through your neck, okay, with support. Good. Now bring the left knee down to the ground. Sit your torso back up. Bring your right knee back to the earth, okay? Hold it. And you may even want to kind of rock the hips side to side or make a little circle with your hips over your knees in both directions. Just feeling into your hips and pelvis. Good, and spine. All right, left foot forward, turn, left, right on the inside of that left knee. Both hands on the block, leaning forward. And if you don't have the block, it's okay. So we're leaning forward and we're gonna feel our energies forward. Now take the right toes, curl it back. Tip the heart up and start to pull back through that right heel, okay? Pushing into both feet. Now I know this right calf muscle is extra tight today. So as I pull back through my heel, I can feel that calf muscle, get a nice stretch. So I'm gonna push off my toes, lean forward, pull back through my heel, feel that calf muscle stretch. So do that a couple times. Definitely keeping that connection of my hands to the floor. And if you aren't using a block and you're on, like, say, the fingertips and you're tenting your hands, just be mindful to keep that belly turned on, the trunk turned on. So it's helping you stay light. Good. Okay, drop the right knee to the ground and start to peel your left side up off, and then bring your left knee to the ground. Again, hips to side. Your knees are just under your hips. Make some circles. Oh, it's so important to do new things with our bodies, you know, so this is kind of where that fierceness comes in, is knowing that, you know, if we're doing new things and we're exploring without our mind, just pure presence, then we're going to surprise ourselves pretty much every time. Okay, you guys ready for the next one? I'm going to take the left back. Okay, and start on the left side this time. So left side back, both hands on your block or at the floor. Send the right leg back just as it was. So it's like an arrow, straight back. So your hips are gonna be, and your legs are gonna be so turned on that you can actually stay light. So you can bring your hands off the block. So do this a couple times, just lifting, pressing, lifting, pressing. And as you press, pull your shoulder blades back. Okay, touch, bring it up. Touch, bring it up. Two more. Touch, bring it up. Touch, bring it up. So that's how you want to feel in your body. Now hold that, but have your hands down. Now start to pump the hips up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good, do that. And on your next up, I want you to jump switch the legs. Perfect. All right. I know this is all experimental. Just be careful. All right. Press your right foot on the inside now of your right block. Okay. So we just jump switched. We switched the feet. Okay. So when you feel this energy here, you're pulling back through the heel, you're sinking your hips. And this is when we do these pump movements. So we're doing about 10, pulling up and squeezing the shoulders back and then touching down. And just make sure your neck and head is in a neutral position. So you're not like kinking your head up, but you're also not letting that head release down. So we want to keep that long line, almost like a plank in our trunk while we're doing these. Good, and last one. Again, your legs will probably be sore again like last week. Hands to the ground, feel that as your hands come up, and then bring your hands back. And then start to pump up and down with your hips. So I'm kind of starting to straighten my forward leg as I lift my hips up. I'm going a little deeper. So I'm pushing into that forward foot, pumping the hips up, holding the belly in, and feeling that movement coming from my core as well as my legs. All right, so we're gonna do that. Next pump, jump switch. Yes. All right, and do it again. Jump switch. Jump switch, keep your gaze forward, looking maybe 3 feet out along your mat. Jump switch, jump switch. Feel it from your belly now instead of your hands and legs. Jump switch, get a little lighter. Jump switch, one more time. Jump switch, jump switch. Good, and now push the right foot forward to the front of your mat and fold. All right, time to decompress the shoulders. So grab your elbows now on the front of you. Grab your elbows, or you can even go inside the crease of your elbows. Hang your head, and we're in a standing forward bend, so check your feet. Make sure they're parallel. And then if you want, you can keep your knees soft and bent, or you can straighten and just sway. And if you want, you can kind of rock and roll through your arms, circle your arms. Hang and dangle the arms, shake out the head and neck. No and yes, and I don't know. Bend the knees. Slowly start to peel up, and we're going to come to standing. So you want to feel the legs strong like 2 pillars, belly curled in. We're stacking vertebrae as we press our feet into the earth. As we unfurl, like a fiddlehead fern, let your chest open, shoulders go back, let your chin come up, let your face come to neutral. Roll the shoulders back completely so the palms face out. And now take a deep breath in and lift up all your energy to the sky. Palms together overhead, gaze up. And then exhale, bring the hands straight down through the center line to prayer position in front of your heart. Take a few breaths here, pause. Notice your mountain pose after all the work we've done so far with the legs and the shoulders today, the trunk, the spine. Notice the body front and back, right to left. Good, so take your weight to your right foot, send your left foot back so you're on your left tippy toes behind you. My hips are facing the narrow end of the mat. My shoulders are broad and spacious. I'm going to keep my hands at my heart. So we're going to begin to tip forward and let the left leg come up behind us. So as our trunk comes forward, our left leg comes up. So eventually we're in a warrior 3 balance with the hands at the heart. So you can come forward and tip more, but if you tip more forward, your left leg also has to come up with you. So you're eventually coming into the shape of a T. Okay? And then you're balancing. As you're here, bend and straighten your right leg a couple times. And see if you can bend and straighten without moving your back leg. Just feel that energy there. Good, and then if it feels right as we take these last 2 breaths, you can bring your arms like airplane wings, or you can bring them out superhero style, but keep your gaze, like 3 feet out in front of your mat. Toes spread behind you, fingers spread in front of you, or if you have your arms back like airplane wings still, get that spaciousness on the back door of your heart. Inhale, let's rise all the way up from wherever you are. Take the arms up, left toes behind you. And then palms together at heart as you step your left foot forward to meet with your right. Same thing, opposite side. Weight into your left foot, right toes behind you. Breathe in, lengthen your spine. Breathe out, start to tip. As you tip forward, it's like the front of your body is connected to your back of your body. So the 2 are in harmony as they move with each other. They are one. So the crown of your head and the sole of your right foot connect. So as your crown goes down or out, your right foot goes up. As your chest comes forward, your right leg lifts. Good, so you have that Beautiful Virabhadrasana 3, where you're balanced, feeling that connection to earth and that letter T shape. Bend the left knee, straighten it. Bend and straighten a couple more times. See if you can do that without affecting that back leg. And then inhale. If you would like to take another extension, either with the arms out or forward. Breathing and holding. You'll feel your weak spots in your muscles for sure. Buttocks, left hip, left thigh, turned on. Inhale, bring it back up. Toes behind you, arms ahead, up above. And then exhale, palms together, step the right foot forward and pause. Whew. Breathe in, breathe out. That was a good one. Awesome. So one more standing pose for connection, then we're going to come back into our arm positioning. I had to give your arms a little break. All right. So I'm going to take one of my blocks. I'm going to step my right foot forward and left foot is going to step back. So we're on that forward stance position facing the narrow end of our mat. I have my block on the inside of my right foot. Okay. I want this block to be on the same plane as my back foot. So don't bring that block in close to your foot, okay? Hips distance. All right, so we already did this reach behind our back with the elbows, which is a great shoulder opener. But if you can move towards reverse namaste behind your back, that's another option. You can also do this with the hands clasped behind you. So you can extend the arms behind you straight, shoulder blades come together and clasp the hands from here. So you get to decide, elbows clasped and long arms or reverse namaste. That's my favorite one. All right, push into your feet and stand tall. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears and your chin in and back. So the back of your head is nice and strongly lifted. It's all almost like your skull is floating. And then take your elbows and pull them back away from your body. So you're broadening your chest and breathe into your chest points, like right where your arms and your chest meet. Good. Now press further through your feet and inhale, lift through your chest and let your heart lift. But you want space between your belly button and your heart. So you're lifting up and out of your low back. Good. Then tip forward. Tip forward, feel into your feet. Let them work evenly and come with that flat back. So you're going to pause at about the halfway point. And again, reconnect with your arms and elbows. So the tendency is for everything to roll forward. So pull it back again. Lift and lengthen the crown and let your chest become broad. Squeeze your inner groins together. Good, you guys got this. Take another breath. As you exhale, folding a little bit more, flank pose, Pashimo Tanasana. I think that's what it's called. So we're here, also called temple pose. There's lots of different ways we call this. So we're coming in, we're folding over that right leg. If you can, place your left hand now on your block or at the floor. Inhale, half lift. So my right arm hand is still behind my back, but my left hand is now here at the floor. Squeeze everything to midline. Notice what that feels like. Either your hips are spreading behind you or they're squeezing in towards each other. And that's what we want for this pose. Squeeze in towards each other, pull into the belly, lengthen spine, and then you can start to twist to the right. Whew. Here we go. So Revolve Triangle pose. And I'm taking that right arm and I'm reaching it behind me. If that's too much, you can just bring your right hand to your sacrum bone. So phase 1 here, phase 2 here, and if you can, looking up at your hand. If it's too much on that forward knee, give it a slight bend and push into your back foot so you feel that length through your body. You're gonna really feel that right hip light up. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, exhale, release. Bring both hands to your block Good. Push down through both feet. If you want to, you can bend your forward knee. Bring your hands back to your heart like we did for our warrior 3 balance. And then inhale, push all the way up to standing. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms. I like to step forward and shake it out in Tadasana. So one more side to go, you guys. All right, I know this is big stuff, right? And this is that razor right here. It's like, how much grace can we bring in as we move? How much consciousness and connection can we bring in? How much aliveness? How much presence can we be with this process of last standing pose today, at least the one from our feet. So we got my block at hips distance on the inside of my left foot. My right leg is stepped back. We're going into the same flank pose position, pyramid pose. Hips are facing forward. Shoulders are facing forward. That pelvic area is drawn in, squeezing, okay? This is where you get to decide how you want your hands. Now, if you've been grabbing your elbows with your right hand over, switch it. So your right hand's under, okay? Reverse namaste, or clasping the hands, clasping even your fingers differently if you'd like, when you come here. Take a big breath, press into both feet, lift the heart, arch back, open the chest. Let that kite take off. Good. Keep that heart lifted. As you come forward, push into both feet. Lengthen the spine. And then come to neutral, hovering at the halfway point. Pull those elbows back. They want to roll forward. Pull the shoulders back and down. Kind of squeeze the shoulder blades into the back door of your heart. You're automatically going to feel the front of the chest open up. And maybe even those arm bones get stretched. Do as much as you can comfortably while still taking care. Deep breath in. Squeeze the inner groins together. Whew, that's the inhale. And exhale, fold in a little bit more. Okay, so as you fold in, take a couple breaths. If you tend to lock that forward knee, just come out of that lock position. It might feel better over time for us. I'm still, don't know if that lock position or unlock position is good or bad. I'm just curious about keeping that joint as stable as possible, building strength in those muscles. Good. Exhale, bring your right hand down to your block and inhale, push up to half lift. So flank to length, pulling through the crown of the head. So the spine is long, the inner groins are squeezing towards each other, and then we're rotating to the left for the first phase of our Revolve Triangle. So Parvarita Trikonasana. Left hand can come to the sacrum. Left arm can float up. Gaze can float up. We're pressing and lengthening like we are shining and radiating from the center of the body out in all directions. Feel that aliveness and breathe into it. Good. Exhale, release. Left hand meets with the right at our block on the inside of our leg, and then back to float into our heart. Prayer mudra, flank pose. If you need to bend your knees, do so. Inhale, come all the way back up to starting position. Release the arms, step the feet together, and shake it all out. Whew. All right, good stuff. I'm going to come over here and check up on you guys. Are you hearing me? Okay, sound is good. Awesome. All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to revisit where we were in the beginning of class on our forearms. Okay, so we are going to explore this whole concept about panic again. And I'm going to read it again so you can take a quick break and just breathe into what you've received so far to open you up and get you ready for this next step.
That panic is electric and should be regarded as worthwhile. Panic serves two purposes. It overcomes our sense of smugness and self-satisfaction. So it's kind of like selfishness or absorption in our own stuff, right? It really humbles us. It sharpens our clarity enormously. So it hones our perception. It connects and brings everything to alignment. It is like riding a razor blade. Should we try to slide down the razor blade or should we try to sit still? If we know how to slide down the razor blade, we might do it as easily as a child slides down a banister. Do children think when they go to slide down a banister? Nope, they're just like, I'm doing it. Yes, sometimes there's, there might be a flub in that movement. Is bound to, but without the mind and in that innocence, in that clear perception, I'm going to do this, you make manifest what you're going to do, right? If we do not know the nature of the blade and we are just trying to prove our chauvinism, that we're great and we're cool and we could do it, we might find ourselves cut in two. So it works against us. Panic is a source of openness and the source of questions. This is inquiry, it's invitation. Panic is the source of open heart and open ground. Curiosity. Curiosity. So I want you to stay curious. And I also want you to realize that when we go into things that we're about to go into, like these inversions and these jump throughs, which we're going to attempt, there's that part of us that needs to do it without the mind trusting and knowing that if it's going to happen, it will happen. And then at the same time, that edge, that, that kind of like heart jumping out of your that kind of excitement or panic that you feel when you think about, oh my gosh, I'm going to do like some crazy advanced pose with Erika today. That kind of intimidation you feel, that humbling that you feel is worthwhile because it keeps you grounded. It keeps you present. It keeps you in check with your breath so that when you do these poses, when you attempt them, when you go move in those directions, you invite both the curiosity, the knowledge that it is possible, and then not to prove yourself, not to push, not to go further than you're capable of, but to respect the process. So hopefully that makes some sense because that's kind of what what came to me today as I'm moving through these. So let's try this. Let's go first onto our belly. So belly down. So let's meet there. And if you need a drink of water and a drink of coffee, feel free to get it now. But just a small one. One block would be the only prop you might need. And if you don't have a block but have a strap can come in handy. Oop, I need to fix my camera here, you guys. So we'll meet on our belly, face down. Just take a break there. Just relax. Relax face down on your belly. Okay, so snuggle in. Know the earth will always hold you no matter what. So whenever you need to take a rest, you can come here. You can come into child's pose. You can sit back in Virasana like we did earlier. So this is our rest. We know the earth will take us and will receive us and will give back to us. And we know that we can always come back here anytime we need. All right, with that in mind, come onto your forearms, this time with your palms facing down. So the forearms are flat to the ground, fingers are
coming out in front of you like two train tracks. Okay, chest is broad, shoulders are broad. Tops of the feet are pressing. Press the pubic bone down. Squeeze towards your inner groin. So here we're just in a very lit up Sphinx pose. Okay, now curl your toes under and bring your chest over the same area across your elbows. You're going to push your hips up and come into plank, but on your forearms, forearm plank. You're going to squeeze in towards your midline. You're going to go forward and back on your toes, heels and toes, so heels back, toes forward. Good. And then push the floor, get buoyant. This time the kite is coming out your low back. And then exhale, bring your knees down to the ground and walk your feet in and then tip up into dolphin pose. So basically downward facing dog on your forearms and then let your head hang, look at your toes. Keep your chest and shoulders broad. Walk the feet in another inch or two. Push the hips up and back. Press the arms and chest through. So you're kind of bringing everything back towards your feet. You're still on your tippy toes. You can bend your knees if your hamstrings are feeling tight. You can hold here. Breathing in, breathing out. Look at your toes. Gaze at your toes so your head and neck are relaxed. And then slowly bring the knees down. Sit back, uncurl the toes. And you can either come to child's pose or sit back on your heels for a few moments, just hanging your arms. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, breathing in, breathing out. All right, now with the hands. Hands in front. Palms spread, fingers spread, pads of your fingers pressing. We're on our all fours. You can take your feet about hips distant, knees about hips distance. Start with plank, curl the toes underneath, pull back through the heels, and then push forward and back from here. Good, so you can feel your shoulders over your wrists. I'm gonna look down and adjust a little bit. And we're pushing forward and we're pushing back. Pull your belly in, and this time again, feel the buoyancy on the back of your body, back of your head. Like you have a kite attached to the back of your head, keeping you floated up, and to your back ribs, keeping you floated up. And then walk your feet in, tip the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So feel the stability of your shoulder girdle, chest, let your ears and head relax through your arms. Bring your chest and push it back towards your legs and thighs. Look at your toes, hanging your head. If you want, you can keep your heels up and your knees bent, or you can start to drop your heels down. Press with your fingers and hands, elongate your arms, spread out your armpits. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. Hollow out the belly as you breathe out. So your belly's like a greyhound dog, all archy. Good. Exhale, back to all fours. Sit back. Uncurl the toes, sit back, hang the arms. I love these sigh out exhales. If they're feeling good to you, they help to remove excess tension. Still let you be in that state of anticipation and curiosity. Nothing to prove, just to explore. Keeping the mind as much as you can, or maybe we say the thinking mind, out of the equation. Just open mind, open heart. Okay. All right, so we're coming back into the forearm version. This time, clasp the hands in front of you, interlock your fingers, come forward onto your elbows and forearms and hands, curl your toes under. And again, we're coming into dolphin pose, only this with the arm configuration a little different. And this time we're gonna tip the head up so we're looking at the thumbs. And we're gonna move through the shoulders. So keep the legs strong and move through the shoulders. Chin over the thumbs, chin back. Chin over the thumbs, chin back. Keep that hollowing action in your belly. Inhale forward, exhale back. So if you can get in 2 more, if you wanna go to 8. Forward and back, feel free. So we're strengthening those deltoids, upper back muscles. And then as you finish up, press back, lower down to the elbows, uncurl the toes, and let's slide the arms back behind us, everyone. Child's pose. Again, do those nice sigh outs if you like them. Let that help you release tension. Arms out in front, palms flat, finger pads down. Inhale, come up onto all fours, curl the toes under, press back, downward facing dog. All right, so we're gonna keep the ankle bones connected. All right, so feet are close together, big toes or ankle bones connected. And then come into your down dog from here. And then hold the strength in your arms, broaden and spacious through your armpits, broaden and spacious through your lats, right? Your back ribs, breathe space into them. Again, this is where we want that height to take us up and buoyant. Now, float the right leg up and back behind you as high as it will go, and then squeeze your inner groins towards each other. Flex your right toes so they point down, and then pump, pump, pump. I'm on my tippy toe of my left foot. I'm feeling everything reaching. Good. Exhale, float that right foot down, switch it out. Left leg reaches back. I'm still in my down dog, broad arms, broad shoulders, stable. Pump. Point the toes down, squeeze the inner groins towards each other. I am shaking, yes. And that shaking is not a wobble. I have my balance, I have my stability. Good. Exhale, bring that left foot down. Bring both knees down. Sit back on your heels, child's pose. 3 sides out if you need them. Move the energy. So try to see if when you breathe in, you can move the energy up your spine, like spiral it into your neck and throat. Let the arms relax. Good, you guys, we're on the last round now. Here we go. So we're gonna take our blocks. We're gonna bring them in front of us. You can have your block so your hands are on either side or your thumbs are kind of at the edge and your palms are flat. If you do not have a block, you can do this without, or you can make a loop with a strap. And I'm just gonna show you how to do this in case you need to do it later. So you take your end of your strap through both sides of your metal loops. This is a D-ring. Some of you have plastic. So you want to make it so your strap, once it's connected in a loop, that it won't move, okay? So basically, we're going to make this strap as wide as our shoulders are, okay? You can bring it up to right under your elbows or right over your elbows, okay? So if you're using a strap, that's the feel here, or I like the lower arm better here. Now, if you have a tendency, when you come up into the next pose with the just dolphin, for your hands to come together, then the block is going to be your friend, or a book will be your friend, because this is going to help your hands stay where they are. You just have to make sure your elbows don't move, okay? So back to dolphin pose, and then walking your feet in so your shoulders are directly over your wrists. I'm sorry, directly over your elbows. Okay, let me say that again. You're walking forward with your feet until your shoulders are directly over your elbows. I'm going to keep my gaze down for now, kind of between my 2 forearms, okay, or 2 elbows. Now from here, I'm going to take a leg up, and I'm going to pump, but I'm going to let my left foot come up as I pump, okay? And if I bring my left foot up, I can bring my left foot up to touch my right thigh. So if you need to look and watch me, please do. So here's our dolphin. Here's the pump. I'm letting my left foot come up. Here we got the kite attached to my right foot. I'm going to bring my left foot on top of my right. Okay, so that's what's giving me that weightlessness. So try it yourself, and we're gonna do both sides. So first try with the right leg or your dominant leg, and then maybe say you do 5 kicks, and then you rest, and then you go to your other leg. So I'm gonna try to get my foot to float up off the ground. And sometimes helping that left foot or right foot float off the ground, your kicking leg goes straight and the foot that's coming from the floor touches the thigh of the opposite leg. Again, watch, I'm gonna do it with my other. Head is down and relaxed. I'm actually looking. This time I'm gonna kick with my left and my right foot's coming towards my thigh. Shoulders over. Okay, if I come all the way up and I get that, today it's not happening for me, but if I can get both, then you would follow with the other leg. So go to where you can, and when you're done, take a break before we go on to the other side with the arms. So you're gonna take a break and sit back on your block and let your shoulders relax. You can turn your palms up. Actually bring the backs of your hands kind of to the crease where your legs and your pelvis meet, and draw your shoulders back and down. Come to neutral spine and do those big breaths if you need with the sighs out. It just helps us move energy so we're not keeping that tension on the outside. We're letting it move. And then when we take those big breaths, we're like calming that nervous system. We're releasing any of that excess energy. So we utilize that energy to encourage the bravery and the fortitude to meet ourselves in this moment with whatever difficulty or challenge is met for you on the inside or on the physical body. And you are embracing and accepting out of compassion the fierceness you showed up to. And we do that here on our mat because we need to do it in our lives many times over. All right, I have stories to tell. So no matter how many times you think that shit is going down in your life, there's always a solution that is waiting for you on the other side of it. Okay, so the panic you feel when something's going wrong, or the panic you feel when you're met up against a challenge or something that's unusual for you, when we can be with that instead of try to solve and fix it and go into that state, it just can help us become more acute to meet those things and then let the solution come to us. Just like the problem comes to us, a solution will come to us as well. Okay, yes, there might be some effort involved, but the effort is done from clarity. Okay, I had to do this so many times this week, you guys. I can't even begin to tell you all the stories. So I hope this hits home for you too. All right, let's do this final position. This is for the arms. I'm actually going to have you, if you'd like, you can come to a wall space, or like I have this little teeny tiny pillar. Now I can use this because I've done handstands before. But if you haven't done handstands before, I'm going to recommend either you just work with the one leg up version, down dog, or you come to a wall. And if you're going to use the wall, you want to use the wall actively, not passively, which means you want to do this pose in your body. You don't want to depend on the wall to do the pose. It's almost like the wall is that buddy that's there saying, you can do this. I'm here in case something happens, right? Okay, so when we use the wall, typically I tell you to go 1 shin's distance away from the wall. That's going to look like this. Coming over. 1 shin's distance. That's where my hands are going to go. So I'm almost a full foot away from that wall. I'm gonna come to downward facing dog. You guys can watch if you want. If you haven't done this before, watch if you've done this before. You can go right into it. Palm spread, finger pads connected, arches of the hands lifting. I'm walking my feet up and looking between my thumbs. My shoulders are over wrists. Ankle bones connected. And then I'm gonna play with that same movement, right? I'm reaching up and swinging my right leg. And as I do, I'm springing off my foot, springing. And then once I get that spring full, left foot can touch that springing leg, right? And I'm getting that weightlessness. I'm getting that lift off. And then I'm gonna either rest or switch sides. And there are gonna be those moments of suspension, right? That's what I want. I want those moments of suspension. Okay.
Now, if you're brave today and feeling it, do it. And I'll give you guys a little watch. If you're not feeling it today, that's good. Do something that feels good. I love that Janine has got her trusty headstand prop. Some of you using a wall, some of you right there in the center of things. Keep your gaze between your elbows if you're working forearm stand. Keep your gaze between your two thumbs. If you're working handstand, beautiful, Amanda, you got it. So just 1 foot away from the wall now. Good, keep that energy, guys, you got it. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful, Peter, with your headstand today. Yes, that's it, Faith. So you find where your working spot is, right away. I love how some of you, Janine, I saw that beautiful pike you just did. Awesome. We're all wherever we need to do. I feel your beautiful courage. I feel you on that razor's edge, sliding down with grace and ease, with the innocence and curiosity of a child. Yes. Awesome, everyone. I think most of us at this point are starting to wind down. Awesome. Okay. Once you are winding down to the ground, I want you to find some ways to release your shoulders. Okay, so we just did all this arm and wrist work. So if you're feeling it in your wrists, you're going to do some wrist and forearm massage. Okay. If you're feeling it in your shoulders, like if they're kind of rolling forward now because we worked so hard there to hold us up, I want you to take your shoulders back, clasp your hands behind your back and squeeze the shoulder blades to kiss each other on your back. Good. I can even feel like my first rib just, I heard it pop. Yeah. I just heard my upper back pop too. Good. So, you know, when we're loose and we're open, like the body naturally knows how to adjust itself, especially when we're, you know, in the state of ahimsa, non-harm, non-violence. We can push our bodies much further than we can, but that doesn't mean we should. You know, we have to use discernment to know, you know, and sometimes that means to take a moment to pause and not like attack a situation. Now, I'm a doer, so I'm going to tend to like go and say, what do I have to check off my list to fix this? Okay, but what if we were more of a beer? Instead of looking like there's some fix, and it's just pure experience in this moment, that kind of attitude changes and softens so that we can be in that fierceness of electricity of something that we're bumping up against, and yet still have a zen about us. At least working towards that zen state. All right, guys. All right, before I have one other thing I want to do, just out of fun, since we're working on this lagima, this weightlessness and lightness, since we're feeling the kite and the upliftment and the inner body strength that kind of supports that lightness. I want to do one more thing. I might show it to you and then you guys can decide if you have energy to do it. And if you don't, we'll just go straight into our restorative poses for today. But at least this initial movement that we're going to do, it sets us up for a nice Pashimo Tanasana, which is a seated forward bend with the legs straight out in front of us. So that's kind of like where we're going next. So let me show you what I'm going to demonstrate and then you can play and decide what you want to do. So I'm going to first start by measuring from Dandasana. Blocks to either side of my hips. So just depending on how wide your hips are, you want to get them about an inch out from your hips. Okay, you can do this with your blocks at the medium, if you have nice sturdy blocks like I do, or down flat. Okay, I'm going to have to move up just a little bit. So bring your feet right, or your heels right to the edge of your mat. Okay, like so. All right, now I'm going to show you this. So for those of you who have had an Ashtanga practice in the past, this is how you learn to do jump throughs in Ashtanga. And this is actually the modified jump through. So it's more fun. It's kind of like those jumping bunnies, those switches we did when we were doing our lunges. So similar. So I'm going to come into down dog with my hands underneath or over my blocks. Okay? And then I look forward where I want my feet to land. I bend both knees and then I bring my feet through all the way and set myself back down into Dandasana. So you can cross, you can push the feet back, look forward where you want your feet to land, keep your gaze there, jump through, and send those legs straight through. So you can play with that 2 or 3 times. Now that you guys have seen me do it, I'll tell you, sometimes I make things look easier than it is. But then remember, out of the curiosity of your own mind, let yourself play. Now, if you don't have blocks, I understand that this is not going to be possible. Okay, so this may be something motivates you to invest in a couple $5 blocks. And if you don't have the blocks, just Pashimo Tanasana, seated forward bend. And you can do that with your knees bent or straight. You can do it with the legs connected or a little bit wide. Crystal, that was successful, I would say. It was a beautiful attempt, my dear one. Rebecca too. Awesome, guys. All right. I give you all so many brownie points for being with me today on this very fun, expressive shoulder, arm, leg strengthener experience. Good. So go ahead and come into your seated Pashimo Tanasana. So that's called East stretch. I'm sorry, West stretch. West. This is why. I'm even facing east today. So the front of the body that we face the sun when we're doing our sun salutations is the east side of the body, the front of the body. The back side of the body is the west side of the body. It's what faces where the sun goes down. Okay. So when we come into Pashimo Tanasana, aka West stretch, we're stretching the whole entire back of our body. So you can do it from here. Inhale, traditional. Exhale, lead with the heart. Fold in. If it's too much, some of you have some super tight hamstrings. I know. Stick a blanket, roll a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees. Okay. Don't do this by rounding your back and pushing your pelvis back. Do this with your pelvis and sitting bones on the ground and your spine upright, and come forward with your chest over your thighs. So at least make that change for yourself, even if it means you got to bend your knees a whole ton, okay? And for those of you who can go straight, those of you who are feeling nice and open in your hamstrings, so we got, group A is, has a little bit more tightness in the backs of the legs. Group B has a little bit more openness in the backs of the legs. You might take your block and place it beyond your feet. Press the block into the feet and pull forward from there.
And then we're all breathing into the back door of the heart, the back ribs, the back waist. Let's stay here in silence for a good 40, 45 seconds. Inhale, start to lift your head up. Keeping the legs strong now, pressing the backs of the legs downward. Reach the arms up, get floaty. Exhale, relax your arms. So we're going to get ready for a few little release poses. So if you have blocks, bring them kind of towards the front end of your mat. If you have a bolster or a stack of blankets, bring them towards the back end of your mat. We're just going to do a little back twisting before we get into our quiet restorative poses to counterbalance all this effort we've done today in class. Okay, so bend your knees, plant your feet, and bring your hips and sitting bones a little closer towards your heels. And hands underneath your knees, you're just gonna do a couple little arches and curls through your spine here. So pull forward, come up high on the sitting bones, lift the chest, lift the chin, exhale, round the spine. So maybe 2 to 3 more rounds, just like this. Everything we do in yoga is about symmetry and asymmetry, right? One side doing the opposite. That's asymmetry. Both sides doing the same like we are right now, symmetry. It's also a dance between internal and external rotation. Inhale, come center. Exhale, roll back. Roll all the way back on your mat. Lay back on your head. This is the first time we've been on the ground on our back, so it's going to feel good. And just circle the knees a couple times. So internal rotation is bringing the inner or the outer towards the inner, or even crossing it over, right? And external rotation is bringing it away from the center line, okay? So we do poses with both actions. Sometimes we're externally rotating on the upper body, and we're internally rotating on the lower body, and vice versa. Okay, and then we have rotation. Let the knees hover over your belly. And let's do this. Let's externally rotate the arms and open them out into a T. Rotation. Take a deep breath here. We're going to rotate our lower body. So the knees are going to fall to the left. Let them fall all the way so the knees stack on each other, and then rotate your upper, so your head to the right, looking down your right arm. So now we're in rotation, spiraling the spine. Now see if you can get your right shoulder blade to sink down a little closer to the floor, and then see if you can make your body more heavy towards the earth. And if that means you kind of soften the way you're holding yourself here and things sort of settle, that's okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's stay here for about 30 more seconds. Awesome. On your inhale, bring your knees and your head back up to the center line. Exhale, rotation to the right, knees and lower body go over to the right. They rest over there. Head and neck, looking down the left arm. Left shoulder gets heavy, eyes close, and you feel the breath now massaging all your insides. Soft muscles of your face, cheeks, jaw, throat, tongue, lips, brow. So super peaceful face. On your next inhalation, bring your knees back up to center. Wrap your arms, head back up to center, wrap your arms around your legs, and just let yourself free move for a few moments on your back. When you're ready for a first restorative pose, you can take your stack of blankets behind your back. So you're gonna have to sit up to get this all set up. I have one of those round bolsters, but you can use one of the flatter bolsters or a couple pillows behind you or stack of blankets. But you just want to make sure that your butt stays on the ground and that stack of blankets is right behind your low back. Okay, I'm going to take my blocks or books, if you have them, and take the soles of the feet together and knees open. So external rotation. Okay, this is an external rotation pose. So we're opening and we're going to allow our back to come into a very supported back bend position. So most of our poses today were in forward bend kind of positioning and also very on that narrow kind of inner groin connected. So now we're going to let that all open up. So lay back, let the soles stay together. Let the blocks or your books help to support your knees, kind of fill in the gap between the floor and your body. And then let your arms just open out wherever they want to naturally release. And let your fingers also naturally curl. Okay, so don't try to hold them flat. In fact, don't try to do anything. Release all effort. And then just come into this open heart of yours. This open heart, this precious moment with your body, with yourself. It's the time in which the clouds clear and you can just rest, knowing you have a moment to receive and get your energy coffers refilled.
We'll be here for about 5 minutes. So you want to get really comfortable. If at any time you feel like you want to extend your legs or adjust the pose in any way, you're welcome to. So I'll play another little Amber Lily song while you're here.
Can you feel it? Can Our time has come. Said our time has come. Hey, hey, oh Lord. Our time has come. Said our time. Hey, it's our time. I'm ready to speak and to be heard.
Okay, so we have just one more place to go, and that is to Shavasana. As soon as you feel ready, you can bring your feet back to the earth and your knees in towards the center line. If you're loving this right now, feel free to stay. If you are transitioning to Shavasana, just take a really slow motion, roll to your side, or pull yourself up to halfway towards sitting. Move anything out of the way you need to. Maybe take the bolster and place it under your knees. If you love that legs up the chair pose, that's also an option here for your Shavasana time. Of course, I did draw a card while you all were there. The card I received today is inspiration. I'm going to just show that to you. It's a picture of a woman with a bright light over her head and all these bees and flowers all around her, like little drops of pollen and nectar. And there's just this sparkle in her eye. So I'll read this first little chants here. We're in our relaxation pose. And then I'll just let you be for a bit. And then I'll bring you out with another Amber Lily song. I used to love when my mom read to me. And Adam sometimes asks me to read to him before bed. I think this is special to be able to receive kind of when you're relaxed, these spiritual, receive the spiritual teachings and the knowledge that we have. And so being in that open space, this card is for all of us. An idea has captured your attention or will do so very soon. It may be a grand vision or the vague sense of something that could be. You are being encouraged to accept the vision, the idea, or the inspiration, as it is important to your creative and spiritual growth. Also, it is possible. The bee is bringing you healing medicine, wisdom from nature to aid the message of this oracle of inspiration. The bee is a powerful spirit totem. Bees are able to fly with wings that are significantly small in proportion to their heavier bodies. They can do so because of the sheer speed with which their wings move. Your idea, even if it seems like a big, substantial plan that might be difficult to get off the ground, can succeed. You will attract great helpers to you, and the earth will support the success of this project because it is about helping the greater good as well as your own growth and development. When the Mother Earth lends you nature wisdom to support your healing and growth, you know you have exceptionally powerful ally to your cause. Let this bring you confidence. Allow inspiration to fill you with enthusiasm. and the expectation of magic and marvelous synchronicity as people, situations, and opportunities fall into place to help bring your inspiration into reality. Idea, potential, flowering into so much more than you realize. When an inspiration comes from the greater creative intelligence of the universe, even when it makes itself known as an idea coming from a human source, all that is needed to bring it into being will be available at the right time. For the human channel of the idea, it's just a matter of being open, receptive, trusting, and enthusiastic about what is to come. Everything required for each step will naturally be attracted to support the success of this project according to divine timing. You are a vehicle of inspiration. You are meant to think and do things differently. You are capable of receiving fresh ideas that are not so out there or different that they can stop being practical, but they are welcome, wonderful, helpful, not just to you, but for the whole world. Believe.
Keep breathing, keep believing. In the dark we pray for seeing. 'Cause just beyond this grief we're blossoming. Give me strength within my sadness to see the beauty in the madness. Send a song that can relieve my suffering. To release. Mama, please. Release. Mama, please. Say all across this earth we're reclaiming rights at birth to live with this land and love freely. The indigenous are rising, women coming out of hiding. Yeah, we trust the children to know their strength. We release. Mama, please. Release. Mama, please. Mother, hear my words. If I am your child, and I know I am, grant me the faith to trust in your ways. Oh, I'll do the best that I can Check it, the fire burns my fears, and the dry lands drink my tears, and the winds carry my worries away. Oh, the trees, they breathe with me into the depths of everything that I am. Yes, I am. I may feel weak, but I'm not broken. Cast my shame into the ocean. I know this land is holding me. I'm alive and I'm awake, so carry me with grace. Teach me of your ways and I will sing. I'll relieve Mama, please. 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 Oh, help me, please. Relieve. Oh, help me, please. Oh, help me, please. I will let. Oh, I will let. I will let. Oh,
Placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand on top of your left. You can say aloud or silently to yourself, may my inspired idea be blessed by the creative intelligence and love of this universe. May the perfection of divine timing govern the unfolding of this idea into its most beautiful and fulfilling form. May this idea attract the most nourishing people, situations and opportunities so that it may live out its destiny, to make a positive contribution to the world. Through sacred genius, love and grace, so be it. So let's get in a big stretch, big reach. And when you, with your readiness, curl over to your right side and bring yourself up to a seated position. So coming full circle to this place where we began our practice, reconnecting to what we were holding in our own hearts at that time. And breathing into our own hearts, front and back. And may this prayer be an offering. I close my practices often with the metta prayer, which is the prayer of loving kindness. And you can direct this prayer to yourself. You can direct your prayer to someone out there who's really hurting right now, or you can just direct it to the world in general. And you can repeat after me today. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you know the light of your true nature. May you be free. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace to all. Love to all. Life to all. Namaste.